Osio, Halito, it's Raven Redtail Hawk Jaguar, and I'm coming to you today with a video on the origins of Dia de los Muertos, which is Day of the Dead, All Saints Day, All Souls Day, Samhain, Halloween, okay? So, I am tapping into the Pomba Gira energy, okay? And the Pomba Gira energy is from the Orisha, which is Yoruba, from Agbulan, Africa, Tamari. Also, New Orleans, Brazil, Dominican Republic, everywhere our ancestors were shipped. Okay, you know that indigenous, aboriginal, indigo to copper colored, cinnamon, tawny, all shades of indigo to tan were already here on in the Americas, which is Turtle Island. We were already here, but when the invaders came in, they did ship some of us out to other locations. And understand, overstand, and understand that melanated people are the origin of all humans, okay? We are the origin. So we are a pan-global people. So if you want to be pan-African, salute, because I embrace pan-Africanism. I also embrace pan-American, okay? Because my ancestors are from Turtle Island, okay? So what they did was they shipped our ancestors to different places, the Caribbeans, the diaspora, everywhere. And so they do have a spirituality, a religion called Umbanda, okay? And I really resonate with Umbanda because it is a mixture of the Tamari, African Agbulan, okay? Also, it is indigenous, aboriginal, American, Turtle Island spirituality, tribal spirituality, and because of the invaders, it's also Catholicism. They use the saints as a front, okay? And so that big pot of gumbo called Umbanda, Santeria, Lukumi, Ifa, Yoruba, Voodoo, Hoodoo, all of that is a mixture of our various spiritualities and cultures. Melanated beings are the parents of all of the spirituality and culture today. We know that the invaders came in and distorted it, okay? And so what we're doing is trying to clear up, clean up, set the record straight, okay, about the spirituality. So Pomba Gira, okay, Pomba Gira is also Maria of Seven Crossroads. She's the female Ishu, okay? If you want to do a little research, do a little research on her, okay? She has that classy, okay, that classy energy because she's a lady, but she's also fierce. She's fierce in the romance, love, seductress type energy. Okay, love, beauty, intuition. Okay, people call on her about relationships, love, things of that nature. Okay, she has a little bit of Oshun and Obanani energy to me, and I resonate with Oshun, love and beauty, and that goes with the planet Venus. Also, Obanani is partnerships and marriage. So Pombagira is like a mixture of that, okay? She's also, they refer to her as the Lady of the Night, the woman that can satisfy herself and a man sexually. She exudes this energy that people are drawn to her, especially of the opposite sex. So love that energy, okay? Beauty. So I'm tapping into that today. That Pomba Gira energy. All right. All right. Also, we know the Day of the Dead. They celebrate our ancestors that have passed on. They have transcended into other dimensions. Okay. Our lost loved ones. Okay. We reverence the babies, the departed children first, and then the departed loved ones. Okay. The adults. Okay. So how we celebrate is we have altars in our homes and in the community. It's usually in the community around this time. October and November is the time for you to reverence your ancestors and your lost loved ones. So this is what this is about. And I'm going to break down the origin of it. Okay, here in the Americas. Okay. We have the Toltec Oracle. I'm going to be having some cards from the Toltec Oracle. And I had some Orisha cards. Okay. So the Toltec. Okay. The Toltec are descendants of the ancient XiOlmec, the She people. Okay. The Olmec is the parent civilization of all of this. Okay. These are the so-called black indigo beings. Okay. They are immortalized. Okay. They are the pre-Hispanic civilization that laid the foundation for the calendar as we know as the Mayan calendar. It is really the Olmec calendar. They have calendars for the 7 stages of man. They had math. They had hieroglyphs, codexes. They built pyramids and mounds. They set up shop and laid the foundation. Okay, the place was called INKAN, which is the place where the serpents landed, and they are considered to be the Olmec Quetzlcoatls, the serpent beings. Okay, and serpent just means that Kundalini energy, that currency, that frequency, that vibrational energy, that primal energy that created the universe. And that energy is described as feminine energy, divine feminine energy. So they married opposites. They had the serpent in a lot of their motifs and the jaguar. So the serpent represented the cosmos, the black hole that's in that spiral, and kind of like the serpent energy, that they married the spiritual things to the earthly things. The jaguar was something that was earthly. And so they recognized that you have to have polarity, duality, and balance. Okay? And so the Olmec is the foundation. They are the parent civilization that birthed forth the Americas. Okay? La Veracruz, Tamoancan, Teotihuacan. These are places where they found these large colossal heads of the ancient XiOlmec, the She people. Okay, and they set the foundation for these type of celebrations. They reverence their ancestors and their lost loved ones. Okay, when someone transitioned, okay, they had the early altars with art and figurines, statues, codexes, hieroglyphs, all to reverence those that passed on, and they left behind a lot of wisdom and knowledge for us. Okay, they set the path for us. And so the Toltec picked up, because the Toltec is the descendants. The Toltec, the Maya, the Aztec, the Inca, they picked up from the ancient teachings of the XiOlmec, which is the foundation. And so they did celebrate life and they celebrated death. They did not fear death, okay? They welcomed it, okay? Because life and death happens in the spiritual realm and in the physical realm and in the mental realm. And they recognized these three worlds and how life and death plays in the three worlds, okay? So check out, research the XiOlmec, the Olmec Quetzlcoatls. Okay, they are the true OGs of all of this, especially in the Americas, which is North, Central, and South America. Okay, and this was the pre-Hispanic, before the Spaniards came in and perverted and distorted some of their teachings. But they had underground societies that preserved a lot of it, okay? So they had these underground societies. They were called the Quetzalcoatls, the Kukulkans. Ka is spirit. So they married the spiritual concepts and the physical concepts. And balance was their focus, okay? You also want to look into the Popol Vuh. This is like their Bible, so to speak, okay? So I have books on all of this. I've researched it. I've meditated. I've gone within to tap into the energy and where we got this from. Okay, celebrating life and death. Okay, they saw life and death as partners. They are married for life. Okay, so life and death, they're gonna happen. Okay, in the physical realm, okay, you may quit this job or lose a job so that you can start your own business. So death happens so life can occur. So that's something physical. So mentally, okay, you can stop smoking, okay, and then free yourself to do other things. So it's death to one thing, the cycle or the stage ends for one thing, so something new can begin. So life and death is a continuous cycle, okay? And they recognize this, okay? So they embraced it and celebrated it, okay? So, I did want to speak on all of this, okay? You know, when you see the skulls and the paint that represents the dead, the dearly departed, okay? Our ancestors, we reverence them first because they paved the way for us, okay? And then our lost loved ones, our lost friends and lovers, okay? Our babies, okay? We reverence them. What we do is we have altars in our home and in the community. I have an altar in my home, actually two. One is for my ancestors, okay? You have ancestors' pictures, you have their pictures, and you have the four elements represented. You want to have a plant, okay, to represent earth, water to represent water, a candle to represent fire, incense to represent air, okay? And what I would do is pour the water onto the plant to pour libations. Libations is pouring water into the earth because our bodies were made from the earth and then they return to the earth, but our spirit, that energy, lives eternal, continuously. So you pour water into the earth. So you hear songs like Tupac, pour out a little liquor. That is from Ancestral Reverence, okay? You can have your ancestors' favorite liquor, favorite foods. You could cook their favorite meals, play their favorite music, have some of their personal items on there on your altar to tap into their energy, okay? And October, November is the time when the portal, the veil is thin and they are close to us. They're always close to us because we have their blood on the inside of us. So we can go in within meditation and do meditation, trance-like states to tap into their energy and communicate with them. We can do that. But October and November is a time where the veil is thin, the portal is open to where we can communicate with our divine ancestors, okay? Excuse me, and our departed loved ones, okay? So, and around this time, they would have altars in the community. They would have Their face painted to represent death or our departed loved ones, to give reverence. Decorations, celebrations, parties, and they will light candles and say prayers and affirmations. Go to cemeteries and decorate the graves to reverence our ancestors. So it's about ancestral reverence. We will put on regalia to tap into different energy. Some may dress like their ancestors, or they may dress like the ancestral elements, like the orishas, the saints. And they used the Catholic saints as a front because the invaders came in and forced Abrahamic religions on our ancestors. So they used the saints as a front, but in private and in their own ceremonies, they reverence their ancestors and the elements that represent divine masculine, the creator, and divine feminine, the creatress, as one. So they would have different deities or beings that they would reverence. It's only an aspect or an attribute of the one, the whole great spirit. Okay, so my other altar, I have an altar that has different aspects of divine great spirit, some feminine aspects and some masculine aspects. Like I have Bast, Heru, the Sun Falcon, Subek, Ma'at, truth, balance, justice, morality, the Raven, the Crow, the Jaguar, the Hawk, the Falcon. So we have altars in our home. So one is for ancestral, especially around this time. You want to do that because you want to reverence your ancestors and get guidance and wisdom from them, especially in these perilous times, because the atmosphere in the world is kind of fucked up right now. And we could use some sound guidance and counsel from our great ancestors. They have transcended. So they have knowledge that's on another level. They have wisdom and understanding that's on another level. So when we talk to them and communicate with them, we can get answers, we can get insight. They send us signs and symbols every day. Signs, symbols, messages, they are everywhere. Are you paying attention? Pay attention, okay? So, I did want to touch on some of the cards, okay? Now, the cards I'm coming from is the Toltec Oracle. And like I said, the Toltec are the descendants from the ancient XiOlmec. And they got their foundational teachings, spiritual knowledge, and wisdom from the Olmec, okay? And so they reverence them, okay? And so I have a few cards I'm going to break down, okay? So here they are. All right, the first card is death, okay? Our ancestors recognized duality, polarity, the marrying of opposites, like the yin and the yang. You can't have one without the other. They are partners for life. Life and death are partners, okay? And so death. Death is sitting on the throne, and the throne is red. Red is the color of renewal, okay? And death is sitting on the throne, and there's an instrument in front of him, he or she, okay? And it's like an ancient telescope, okay, that you look out into the cosmos, okay, to see the planets, the stars, things of that nature. Sun, the moon, okay? Death is looking out, okay? Death is just sitting there chilling because he's looking at the cycles of life. Everybody has a cycle of life. So death comes into play so that one thing can end so something else can begin. So you have death and life. It's a continuous cycle. So you have life, death, rebirth. Then death, then rebirth. You have a cycle, okay? So this card represents that. And it has the skull, okay, for death. So our ancestors always hoped for a good death, okay? To die a good death, okay? All right, the next card is movement. Okay, movement. Olin. Okay, movement. This card represents death also, but it represents different kinds of death. Okay, emotional death, mental death, and spiritual death. Okay, and these are the different bodies. You have the physical body, the mental body, and the spiritual body. And sometimes, okay, things happen on this realm where something dies and then something begins. Like that cycle at that job is up. Now you got to start your own business. So that job died, so your business could be birthed forth. Okay, and then mentally, you gave up a habit, okay, and that habit died, so you could have a new mind. A new mindset is birthed forth. So that's life and death again. And so spiritually, okay, spiritually, our ancestors talked about this, but I'll use myself for example. When I was stuck in religion, I was walking around spiritually dead, somewhat. But when I came into the realization, and I awakened from my slumber, I was spiritually awake. So I left that old religion alone. That old religion is dead. I am now rebirthed, resurrected into the new spirituality, okay? Which is revamped and resurrected of my ancestors' ways, okay? So there you have that. The other card is death. It's just describing death. We always have one foot in the earth, the grave, because death is coming. So we use this to celebrate life, to see it as a precious thing. Okay, do all that you can. Tap into your gift. Live your life to the fullest, because death is coming one day. Okay, these are prayers and affirmations going forth. Okay, and one foot is in the grave. So live life to the fullest. Okay, do not be in bondage. Be free. Okay, but have balance in your life. Okay, it's a time for everything. Okay, and the last card is the underworld, XiOlmec. Okay, the underworld. The underworld, okay, our ancestors recognize the underworld, the earth realm, and then the cosmos, the universe, the spiritual realm. Okay, and they married them together, and they knew that there was a purpose for each one of those worlds. Okay. So the underworld is a place of maturity and nurturing. Okay. Like when I came out of old religion, Judaic Christianity. I was a Hebrew Israelite. I was a Christian. When I came out of that, I went in the underworld, so to speak. Okay. Spiritually and mentally. Okay. I went into the underworld, and I had to mature and nurture within divine grace spirit within. My ancestors and my guides helped me with the nurturing and maturing process, so that when I came out of the underworld, I could be birthed forth. I could be rebirthed, renewed, resurrected into my new spirituality, which it is new in this time, so to speak, but to flow in the new, okay, the renewed, okay, the wisdom of my ancestors, the guidance of my ancestors, knowledge, understanding, overstanding, okay. So the underworld is also a place of torment mentally. Sometimes people, like when they do evil things, they go into the underworld, and mentally they are going through chaos because they're in the underworld. They are being checked. Okay, that's called karma. Okay, so these are just examples of different types of death. Okay, and I just wanted to share that with you all and understand what it is. And the whole Halloween, dressing up in costumes and regalia, that's what the ancestors did. They did that to tap into different energies. Okay, so they got it from our ancestors. So It's ours. We can take it back and use it in a respectful way, okay? So I'm gonna do a part 2, but this is just, you know, my ode to the ancient XiOlmec and the celebration of celebrating death, our ancestors, reverencing them, and things of that nature. So I'm gonna sign off, and I want to say peace, namaste, ashe, ayo.